welcome back to my YouTube channel. Exactly a week ago, I got this beautiful vacuum cleaner from Parkside. I was so fortunate to have it, and after a week of testing, I'm eager to share what features I really love, which ones I'm less satisfied with, and also offer some solutions for any issues. Let's begin immediately with what I appreciate the most, which is its portability. It moves really well. I've already vacuumed an entire basement. It runs like a one. Wonderful, no problem. The volume is typical of a workshop vacuum cleaner. I didn't expect that otherwise. I really like the workmanship, also the operation. If you look at the front, there is the flap for the vacuum cleaner, socket for external devices, USB-C, Bluetooth. The app works fine, so pairs great. Everything goes wonderfully. The control here also works. A highlight for me is this remote control. That was actually the main reason why I took it. And then next, the negative, namely the hose. I don't like it at all. I just expected more. But I think at such a price, you can't expect more. But I have a solution for you right away, and I'll tell you why I don't like it. Then I read on the internet that many people complained, and the reason behind the high cost of the dust bags, I believe, is because they are Class H bags. I have my current vacuum cleaner here, which is almost disc-shaped and Class M. I've encountered the same issue with the expense of these dust bags before. However, there is a solution available online from third-party providers. They offer a paper filter installed at the back, which could help mitigate the cost. It's somewhere around 60, so it's pretty hefty, because if you think about it, that's about a quarter of the device. Then you're already thinking about how to get it cheaper. In the next step, I have to rebuild a little something. Then I'll show you why I don't like this hose. So the problem why I don't like the hose is the following. I thought that such a hose for style wrapping is extremely flexible. And you can see here that when it's in the device, it always doesn't matter. And it takes a while for it to settle. The next thing I don't think is good. I'll show you when you put it in. You have to practice a little so that you can find a way to sort it out nicely. Do you have the problem when you pass the edges here? Here they are extremely sharp-edged. And with me, you can already see the hose here. So it goes on the textile, and I think that's such a great solution. I also think the length is a bit too long. For the device, because if you really throw it in, it stops. So you don't see it the way I imagined it. So, and the next problem I have is this adapter here. Of course, it only fits a few devices. So I tried it on the Makita plunge saw. It fits directly on it. But if I have another device, then I have the problem again with adapting. And I have a pretty good solution for you. And I did the following, or my idea is the following. I'll replace this hose. It will be taken for my Nilfisk. It will come and put in a completely different hose here, and I would like to briefly introduce it to you. I'll get it. Und zwar ist das so ein Schlauchset, das habe ich bei Amazon bestellt. Das ist mit so einem Klicksystem, und da habt ihr die Möglichkeit to adapt the different devices, and I'll show you in the next step how I practically remove these sleeves. Here and here, I've already removed them. I'll show it like this, and I'll show it in real time how I take it down. And then I'll take this hose and rebuild and make the new hose on it and let you participate in it. Maybe I think it will be interesting for one or the other of you. So this is the system that I told you about, and you have the option. These are standard sleeves. They are practically turned on the hose in the opposite direction. And now you have the option. I'll show you here. This is the original Bosch. Then it just clips in and holds bombs, and you can replace it in seconds. And here you have the opportunity in the set. I got this from Amazon. It somehow costs a lot. I think it's currently around 37. With a sleeve here and there, you have the opportunity to adapt it to different devices. So these are different cross sections, and you can do it here and here. And the good thing is, as I said, that I just believe that this is the same or modified from the Bosch, because the connections it fits. Can you really operate all the Bosch devices? You practically have a thread on the inside. You also have that with the imitation one. Of course, I will show you the most important devices, how to connect it and what it brings, and who will do a test. So, and now you have the following option. You can use the existing hose if that also annoys you. If it is too long, if it becomes shorter, you can simply shorten it. I'll show you how to do it, or you can add the existing hose. You can add this set here, and you can make this click system. It fits 100%. Exactly then, you can adapt all your devices that you have in the workshop, or the third option that I do. I take this fabric hose, and it goes to my Lidl-Fisk. I modify it, and it goes to mine. This is a new PARKSIDE, which is much more flexible, much more pleasant, and much more. So it's just better, but you'll see about that. I will now show you for my next step how I practically get the sleeves off the original hose. They are also for turning. They just did it that way. They glued them and turned them on. And that's why you have to warm them up a bit. I do this with a hot air gun. I'll show you how I do it. And then you can practically turn off the hose. You can modify that. And then we'll look further.
So I'll show you the move you can remove. It surely does.
Remove the entire thing for advanced testing.
Rear. I'll place them down. You'll see later. Real time. I'll turn it like this.
So you can see that's turned on too.
And this is a regular vacuum hose and
practically outside.
This one. It's tissue like this.
Now you have the opportunity.
Now we can make it shorter.
Then it fits into the top compartment better, or you have another option. You could just turn these sleeves on here, and you can do that.
Hold.
Use the system right here.
My case.
As I said,
I do this, but it wanders to others.
Vacuum cleaner and comes to my vacuum cleaner.
Practical.
The vacuum cleaner hose also from this brand here.
So do it now. We do it again in real time.
Rear. They seem to have a bit of glue in them. I'll heat this up a bit. And then we'll get it down.
The back.
Piece. If you're a little careful.
If it works practically. Hot air.
Does not work too warm because that.
Yes, everything is plastic.
Best with fingers or this?
Box so that it doesn't get too hot. Let's try to see if it goes down. Well, it's nice to hang inside, no bubble. So now the glue should slowly come off. So it doesn't come off yet.
At the if. Place the new adapter on.
No need for glue anymore, however.
I don't actually need it.
Maybe we'll be lucky and in the next version of this vacuum cleaner.
I think it's C3, right? What might come? One like that? Hose practically with such an adapter on the same.
Got one right.
A good improvement. He is.
But
Glued in tighter, but he's coming in soon.
A little more hold.
So now got him.
Just like that.
Now comes. He's still a metal ring. On. Preventing.
That is.
Tighter packed in like the top one, but we got it right away.
Hey.
And there we have him like this. And here you see.
That's as I said now. Here comes now.
There.
Hose in, and it will then...
Changed. Smokes.
Already a little.
All warm here? Of course I'm here. Cold garage. I lay. Den mal. Down. And now, let's turn this thing off here. And now this becomes here.
On it, dumped, turned on it.
So tight.
You can, of course, glue it into the vault, but you don't have to.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, I have practically the click system already on.
I'll show you again.
It's easy.
Opposite.
Rotating like this. And already have a neat adapter hose. I show euch gleich. Like that. On the packing pages looks like. I will also close a few devices, display the few devices first.
And then, of course, I'll also suck to show the suction effect. And this existing one here,
That's how I do it.
I'll just cut it off a little bit. Then I will. This muff on it, and then help comes along.
Adapter.
So, what I would like to do now is briefly show you once more. I've now modified the fabric hose. Here is the quick release, which connects to the vacuum cleaner. Using a hot air gun, I slightly melted the plastic to prevent it from tearing. But now, let me demonstrate why I'm not a fan of this hose. Its lack of flexibility. I have here that you can see this is practically the hose. I bought it in the accessories. Practical with this click system. There is a big package for almost 70 euro. There is the hose and a few vacuum cleaner parts. And now look at what Parkside takes here. That's kind of if you're honest. It's not really flexible because if you compare it to it, it's super flexible. No matter how warm it is, how cold it is, you see, so he's wonderful, and so he's under the shell when he takes it away. So that's not so great material. So it also kinks quickly. I'll show you. It's not that flexible when I take the hose. It's somehow scary when you go around the curve that it will kink together. So that's why I take the one for the other vacuum cleaner to throw away. It's too bad for me. I can still do that. Now I'll demonstrate how perfectly this hose connects to the Park set using an adapter. So now I want to show you briefly how the hose fits in. So let's have the opportunity. So I rebuilt this, which is now practically this closure with this nose from the packing side. But you can also take a normal nose in it. If anyone is interested in the manufacture of the hose and this click system, this ZenTech on Amazon, and you can see it is much more flexible. It goes in much nicer, is no problem at all, and the whole thing looks much cleaner here. Of course, if you want to do the whole thing, you can do it in front. We'll do it again so that you can see it. So I think you can see that this is a much cleaner thing and just more fun, and the hose is much more flexible. Especially when I was milling, I noticed it, i.e. this one from PARKSIDE. It was so stiff and went around the curve at all, and is of course a completely different tube. So now I'll show you the adapters on the most important devices so that you can get an idea whether that would be something for you. So the first device I would like to imagine is a plunge cut saw here from Makita. We'll also use it again and connect the vacuum cleaner. Then we'll take a look at its suction power extraction. Now you can, for example, connect the original Bosch here. It fits perfectly, holds firmly, and you even need to grip it nicely when detaching it to make sure it comes out smoothly. Here is the alternative, if you don't use Bosch. Falls also bombs, and that is done with the click system. Maybe I'll make the hose so that everyone can see it. I press the button here, turn it on. Zach is very flexible, runs wonderfully. This was the first device.
Then of course you have.
To continue using the vacuum cleaner, please use this handpiece.
Then I will also demonstrate that it functions flawlessly.
Pushed in the back, it holds bombs securely.
You can completely.
Use normally, nothing slips out.
It's a very clean thing. You even have to.
Pull correctly so that he goes out again.
Well, then we have the next device from Makita. There is another attachment here, so we can use the adapter here. I'll take the Schiebler again. There he is, so you can see it. So it goes down very tightly again, and that would now be, for example, exactly a 31 ER. It would fit exactly there, and will simply be glued to the back here again. So, then I have a battery device from Bosch here. Now, of course, this remote control is pretty cool. If you have it, you can turn it on remotely. And here we have the advantage. We can push it directly on it here. It holds bomb-proof. Already sanded along dozens of times so flawlessly. Nothing slips down flawlessly. Branch purely wonderful that the Bosch has. So these connections, I'll show you the router from Bosch, that unfortunately the new ones no longer have that. So I already announced, here is the Bosch, the LCE, my favorite. And it also has this connection, so it's wonderful and fun to work with the part. The same way is pushed on it again. And now you have the option. I'll either make the device here. I'll show you that you've seen it before. Put it into the socket here. Now the lights should automatically come on at Bosch, which happened. And if I turn it on now, unfortunately I didn't have the lock. Now we'll do it right again, so it works perfectly. Now let's take the plug out and do the same with the remote control by pressing and holding it. So, I'll do it again. So here it would be, as I said, because it is a wired device, of course there is no need to work with it, because as soon as I turn on the surface it works. What I also like is that if it is supplied with electricity, so that the light comes on, so I don't have to run, but the lighting is immediately on, and it doesn't start right away. So that's really good. I really like her. So I showed you a few devices now. What's also very interesting is that I'll show you here. This is the Bosch accessory from the 18-volt vacuum cleaner, the cordless vacuum cleaner. You can connect it directly and vacuum this here, for example, or because there was nothing original with it like that nozzle. You can also connect the original from Bosch. That's interesting. This is the original holder from Bosch. You can then connect it directly here if you want. So it works one way or another. This is from the 18-volt cordless vacuum cleaner. It's the neck. And here you have a lot of options. What I still have myself is the table saw from Metabo. You can connect it without any problems. And then I also have the crosscut saw, and namely the one with Habo, I think it's 315 plus. The very big one is called the 315 plus. I think it's the 315 plus, which also works perfectly with it. So now I have, of course, I don't have all the devices where I can show you, but you can actually connect almost everything with this adapter set without any problems. Now I'll show you what I did with the old hose, and that I didn't throw it away, that I still recycle it. As you can see, I have meticulously modified the PARKSIDE hose and subsequently connected the Nilfisk. However, if I am being completely honest, I don't foresee it being a permanent fixture in my setup. Most likely, I'll resort to using it for tasks that aren't particularly enjoyable to me because, quite frankly, that's just how it is with this equipment. The flexibility is notably limited, making it less appealing to me. In the following stage, I plan to connect the PARKSIDE and proceed to cut beautiful boards with the plunge saw. This will demonstrate the practicality of the dust collection system in action. So I'm really hoping that I won't scream too loud since I have headphones on. I'm planning to do another test right now. I'll be looking at a board and then examining how the dust development occurs and how the entire process operates. So, as you can clearly see, the shutdown mechanism works wonderfully, and it's evident that there are only a few chips on it. I'm going to vacuum them up immediately. This was, of course, for demo purposes. I normally don't put the vacuum cleaner under a C. I just wanted to show you the suction power of the vacuum cleaner, and I think it's really enormous. I'm going to build a car, and then my car comes. So, because a viewer inquired about the purpose of this USB-C port, I decided to test it. I removed the vacuum cleaner hose for better visibility and connected a standard Apple cable. Then I connected a standard Apple phone to it. The vacuum cleaner is powered on. Let's observe if anything happens. Nothing happens. Now I switch it to auto R, and you can see it charges and works perfectly. That means I can also charge my Apple cell phone there. You can see up there perfectly that it's charging. I'll take it out again, so put it back in. So also a really nice function that you can practically use the vacuum cleaner to put your cell phone up there, and it is relatively well protected and can do it. During working hours it can charge comfortably. Again, I think a good idea of parking time is really great. So the guys are getting better and better, more and more good ideas. Well, we'll switch off again, and then it goes on. So guys, my conclusion about the PARKSIDE Workshop vacuum cleaner is that I am completely satisfied with the hose. Okay, I see one somewhere you have to save on a device like this because you can find the device for $200, which is relatively cheap for a hair vacuum cleaner. So it's really an incredible price, including the design, the way the device moves, and the suction power. The operation, etc. I'm actually very happy with the device, and as I said, such a hose is okay. I got rid of it now, but will probably order the same hose for the Nilfisk. I've had it in operation for 2 years. You can see here everything works here, so making the connections from PARKSIDE relatively quickly, i.e. 5 minutes hot air gun, and I converted it. In this sense, I would like to thank you and For watching, I would be happy about a subscription, a like, and maybe that you will be there again next time. And if you have any questions, just ask. I try to answer them as soon as possible. In that sense, it does well. Ciao.